Hello, friends. If you're looking for an in depth review of Baby Driver, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll cover the full story, the incredible cast, box office performance, and standout performances. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's dive right in. Baby is a young man with an extraordinary talent behind the wheel. From the very first moments, it's clear that his life revolves around music and rhythm. Every movement, every glance, every shift of the gear feels orchestrated to a soundtrack only he can hear. But behind this precision is a young man shaped by hardship. Baby suffers from tinnitus, a constant ringing in his ears, a reminder of past trauma and the harsh world he has endured. Music is not just a passion, it is a necessity, a way to drown out the ringing and regain control over his senses. Baby's life is quiet, structured, and solitary. He lives with his foster father figure Joseph, who provides guidance, warmth, and stability. Joseph is the one tethered to normalcy in Baby's otherwise chaotic world, offering advice about choices, morality, and life beyond crime. Baby listens carefully, but there is always an awareness that his path is different, that the world he moves in is far more dangerous than he can yet admit. Baby works for Doc, a mastermind who orchestrates criminal heists with precision. Doc recognizes Baby's extraordinary skill and exploits it carefully. Baby is more than a driver, he is an essential part of Doc's operations, the invisible force that ensures the crew can escape unscathed. Despite this, Baby does not fully belong to the criminal world. He maintains boundaries, a quiet dignity, and a sense of morality that sets him apart. His debt to Doc is clear: perform flawlessly or face consequences. Baby's first missions for Doc are exercises in skill and patience. He observes, waits, listens to his carefully curated music, and executes every move with clockwork precision. Even in high pressure situations, he remains calm, almost meditative. This combination of talent and discipline makes him indispensable, yet it also isolates him from the very people he works alongside. Life begins to change the moment Baby notices Deborah, a waitress at the local diner. She is warmth and normalcy personified, everything Baby's world is not. There is a spark of curiosity, a longing for connection, and perhaps even hope. Their interactions are brief at first, smiles exchanged across the diner, small conversations about life, dreams, and escape. Baby's focus is divided. He knows the criminal world demands his attention, Yet he cannot help but imagine a life with Deborah, a life outside chaos, danger, and crime. It is this vision that plants the first seeds of ambition for a future beyond Doc's control. The first heist that sets the story into motion is methodical, almost calm in its execution. Baby, seated behind the wheel, listens to his music as the crew moves with precision inside. Every step is choreographed, every moment timed to perfection. The getaway is seamless, and yet beneath the surface, tension simmers. The crew members are unpredictable, each carrying their own egos, fears, and impulses. Baby remains detached, a quiet observer of human nature while orchestrating escape routes, turns, and timing with flawless skill. By the end of the job, Baby has proven not only his worth but also his ability to survive within a world that offers no room for error. But life is not so simple. Doc introduces Baby to new crew members, Bats, Buddy, and Darling. Each brings unpredictability and danger. Bats is volatile, aggressive, and unpredictable, a man who thrives on chaos. Buddy and Darling are inseparable, their bond intense and emotionally charged, often dictating their actions more than logic or reason. Baby studies them carefully, noting patterns, weaknesses, and tendencies. For someone who thrives on control, this unpredictability is both a challenge and a warning. Baby begins to understand that surviving this world requires more than driving skill. It demands awareness, intuition, and the ability to anticipate human behavior. At home, Baby's bond with Joseph deepens. Joseph continues to act as his moral compass, reminding him that life can exist outside crime, that choices matter, and that freedom is worth pursuing. Baby listens, sometimes reluctantly, but each word resonates deeper than the last. Simultaneously, his growing interest in Deborah strengthens his desire to escape. Her presence represents hope and normalcy, things that the criminal world has never offered him. The tension builds as Baby balances his dual life. One foot in danger, one foot in the possibility of a different life. Baby has completed his first successful heist, gained recognition from Doc, and caught Deborah's attention, yet he is still trapped, tied to a world where loyalty, skill, and survival intersect in ways he can barely control. The stage is set for deeper involvement with the crew, higher stakes, and the beginnings of a personal mission to escape, survive, and perhaps find a life worth living outside the constant hum of chaos and crime. Life for Baby begins to shift in subtle but significant ways. His connection with Deborah deepens as they share small moments at the diner, light-hearted conversation, glimpses of trust, and unspoken understanding. She represents something entirely different from the chaos he knows: safety, simplicity, and the possibility of a normal life. Baby begins to imagine a future beyond the confines of Doc's operations, and yet he remains tethered to the criminal world. Every time he tries to focus on what he truly desires, he is reminded of the debt he owes, the jobs he must drive for, and the people whose unpredictable behavior could spell disaster in an instant. The pull of the mundane world and the pressure of survival create a constant tension within him. Doc assigns Baby a new job, one more complex than any he has driven before. This heist is a true test of his skill, requiring not only flawless driving but also an acute awareness of the crew's volatile dynamics. Bats, aggressive and unpredictable, already begins to show signs of instability, creating tension before the job even starts. Buddy and Darling, seemingly inseparable, bring their own intensity to the mix, their actions often fueled by emotion rather than reason. Baby observes quietly, memorizing their patterns, anticipating problems, and preparing contingencies, knowing that a single misstep could result in disaster. Every detail, from escape routes to traffic patterns, is meticulously planned, yet he cannot plan for human error or emotional volatility. The heist itself begins with a controlled precision that quickly deteriorates as the crew executes their roles. Inside the building, tensions rise, mistakes are made, tempers flare, and Bat's aggressive nature threatens to derail everything. Baby remains in the car, headphones on, music guiding his reflexes. Every turn, every acceleration, every brake is synced to his internal rhythm, but he can feel the instability radiating from the crew. The adrenaline is heightened not just by speed but by the unpredictable human element he cannot fully control. In this moment, Baby's calm focus becomes his greatest weapon, allowing him to navigate chaos both outside and within the team. Once the crew emerges from the building, the escape begins. The streets of the city become a battlefield, with Baby orchestrating a symphony of movement behind the wheel. Police vehicles appear in his mirrors, and the chase becomes a complex dance of precision, timing, and instinct. Each maneuver is executed with a combination of skill and instinctual rhythm, the music providing both focus and courage. Yet, even in this controlled chaos, Baby senses the fragility of his situation. Bats' erratic behavior, Body's underlying competitiveness, and Darling's impulsive decisions introduce variables he cannot fully anticipate. Every mile traveled carries risk, not only from law enforcement but also from the crew itself. After the escape, the crew's internal dynamics reach a tipping point. Arguments erupt over mistakes made during the heist, revealing fractures in loyalty and trust. Baby, observing quietly, begins to recognize the danger of remaining within this group too long. The criminal world is unforgiving, and those who act without caution often face severe consequences. He realizes that his desire for a normal life with Deborah is growing urgent, but leaving is not as simple as walking away. Doc, ever in control, continues to manipulate the situation, keeping Baby bound to his operations with both opportunity and threat. Amid the chaos, Baby reflects on his own boundaries. He has proven his skill, demonstrated his reliability, and navigated life threatening situations, yet the tension between survival and morality grows more pronounced. He cannot ignore the feeling that the criminal world will demand more than he is willing to give. Each high speed chase, each heist, and each interaction with the volatile crew members highlights the stakes. Baby begins quietly planning for a life beyond Doc, measuring risks and considering the possibility of leaving the life of crime behind once and for all. Meanwhile, his bond with Deborah continues to evolve. Their conversations touch on dreams, desires, and the tantalizing idea of escape. Baby begins to see not just a romantic connection but a lifeline, a reason to endure, to survive, and ultimately to break free. The juxtaposition of the chaos he navigates for Doc and the peaceful, hopeful world Deborah represents becomes the driving force of his actions. Every heist, every decision, and every risk is now colored by the knowledge that a different life is possible if he can survive long enough to reach it. Baby has survived the chaotic heist, reinforced his importance to Doc, and deepened his emotional connection with Deborah. However, the stakes have grown higher. The crew is increasingly volatile, the law is closing in, and Baby is realizing that living this life will require more than skill behind the wheel. It will require courage, careful planning, and the willingness to confront danger head on. Part 2 sets the stage for the next series of events, where Baby will face even greater threats, more unpredictable allies, and the first real opportunity to seize control of his own destiny. With the first major heist behind him, Baby begins to feel the weight of the criminal world pressing closer. His reputation as a flawless driver spreads quietly through Doc's network, and his importance grows. Yet, with recognition comes danger. Baby notices subtle changes in the crew's behavior. Bats is increasingly erratic, his temper flaring at minor mistakes. Buddy and Darling act with more intensity, their bond seemingly unshakable yet volatile in unpredictable ways. Baby begins to understand that surviving in this world requires more than skill. It requires constant awareness of the emotional currents swirling around him. Every glance, every word, every movement could tip the balance between life and disaster. Doc begins planning the next heist, one more complex and risky than the previous. Baby studies the plan meticulously, memorizing every route, every escape path, every timing detail. He also studies the crew, knowing that even the most precise plan can fail if human unpredictability is involved. Bat's impatience and aggression create tension before the heist even begins, while Buddy and Darling's emotional intensity threatens to derail the operation at a moment's notice. Baby's music becomes more than a comfort. It is his focus, his method of tuning out distractions, and his mental preparation for what is about to unfold. As the heist begins, the crew moves with urgency and precision inside the target location. Baby remains outside, seated behind the wheel, his headphones on, every nerve tuned to the rhythm of the music and the chaos around him. The tension is palpable. One wrong move could trigger disaster. Inside, Bats grows increasingly agitated, reacting violently to minor setbacks, while Buddy and Darling follow their instincts, sometimes counterproductive but undeniably fierce. Baby watches, anticipates, and adjusts his driving strategy in real time, navigating both the streets and the emotional minefield within the crew. The getaway is immediate, and the streets become a symphony of speed, timing, and improvisation. Police vehicles close in, and Baby maneuvers with incredible skill, dodging traffic, pedestrians, and obstacles with a precision that seems almost superhuman. Yet the threat is not only external, the crew's instability creates tension inside the car. Bat's aggression reaches a boiling point, leading to a confrontation that could jeopardize the entire escape. Baby's ability to maintain focus under extreme pressure proves essential, keeping the team alive while managing the volatile personalities around him. After the heist, the crew's disagreements intensify. Arguments erupt over mistakes made during the operation, highlighting fractures in trust and loyalty. Baby, as always, remains observant, calculating the risks of staying too long within this world. He realizes that his growing desire for a life with Deborah cannot coexist indefinitely with the chaos of Doc's operations. Each member of the crew displays traits that could become dangerous, and Baby understands that survival depends not only on skill but also on foresight and timing. At the same time, Baby's relationship with Deborah deepens. She represents the life he yearns for, a future that contrasts sharply with the dangerous and unpredictable world he navigates daily. Their conversations become more meaningful, filled with hints of escape, hope, and shared dreams. Baby begins to quietly plan a future outside the criminal life, knowing that the path will be perilous, but believing it is worth pursuing. The contrast between his skillful, controlled driving and the unpredictable behavior of those around him mirrors the tension between his current life and the one he desires. By the end of part 3, Baby has successfully navigated another dangerous heist, reinforced his critical role within Doc's operations, and further solidified his emotional bond with Deborah. Yet, the threat of instability within the crew, combined with the relentless pull of the criminal world, continues to grow. Baby's desire to escape and build a normal life begins to crystallize into a concrete plan, setting the stage for the next phase of the story. The final heist, the escalation of internal and external threats, and the beginning of a battle not just for survival but for freedom itself. The aftermath of the second heist leaves the crew simmering with tension, and Baby can feel the danger intensifying. Bat's unpredictability is no longer a subtle concern, it has become a looming threat. His aggression, impatience, and sudden bursts of violence create unease for everyone, including Baby, who now realizes that surviving is not only about driving skill, but also about anticipating the volatility of those around him. Buddy and Darling, while seemingly loyal to each other, contribute to the instability in their own ways. Their decisions are driven by emotion, sometimes reckless and always unpredictable. Baby studies each of them, mapping their behavior like a strategist preparing for a battle. As the crew prepares for the next assignment, Baby begins to feel the weight of his choices. The music in his headphones, once a source of comfort and focus, now serves as a tether to sanity amid chaos. He begins reflecting on what his life has become, a series of precise movements dictated by others with little room for personal freedom. His growing bond with Deborah acts as both inspiration and urgency. She is no longer just a distraction, she represents a lifeline, a reminder that there is a life worth fighting for outside Doc's operations. The more Baby contemplates this, the more he realizes that escaping this world will require careful planning, courage, and timing. During these quieter moments, Baby notices cracks within the crew's facade. Bat's anger begins affecting their operations. Minor disagreements escalate into threats that could endanger everyone. Buddy's personality starts showing a darker edge, ambition and ego masked by charm, but hinting at deeper instability. Darling, caught between loyalty and fear, begins to act unpredictably under pressure. Baby recognizes that he is in the middle of a powder keg. One spark could ignite a chain reaction, endangering not just the heist but his life. He resolves to remain alert at all times, mentally preparing for the possibility that the people he works with may turn against him, or worse, each other. In parallel, Baby continues nurturing his relationship with Deborah. Their conversations grow more intimate, filled with hints of future plans, dreams of leaving the city, and thoughts of a life free from crime. These interactions provide him with hope and determination, but they also remind him of the stakes. The criminal world is relentless, and any misstep could destroy the fragile possibility of escape. Baby's mind constantly balances between loyalty to Doc, survival within the crew, and the vision of a life with Deborah, sharpening his instincts and reinforcing his resolve. Tension escalates further when Doc announces the final high stakes heist. This job is unlike anything the crew has attempted, a large scale operation with high risk and high reward. Baby senses the danger immediately, knowing that one error could be fatal. The crew's personalities, already unstable, now collide under pressure. Bats grows increasingly hostile, Buddy shows subtle manipulations, and Darling struggles to maintain composure. Baby must not only execute a flawless getaway, but also navigate the emotional and psychological minefield of his teammates. Every decision matters, and every movement carries consequences that extend far beyond the heist itself. As the day of the heist approaches, Baby's mental preparation intensifies. He rehearses the routes, anticipates obstacles, and strategizes responses to potential threats, both external and internal. The music that has guided him through countless chases becomes more than a focus. It is a symbol of control in a world that is spiraling unpredictably. Baby begins to feel the first real weight of responsibility, not just for himself, but for Deborah's future and the fragile trust of those who depend on his driving skills. This awareness heightens his sense of urgency and determination. Baby is poised on the edge of chaos. The final heist looms, the crew's instability threatens disaster at every turn, and his desire for freedom grows stronger than ever. Baby knows that his life is about to change irrevocably, that the coming operation will test every skill, every instinct, and every ounce of courage he possesses. The stage is set for high speed chases, unpredictable confrontations, and choices that will determine not only his survival but the possibility of finally escaping the life that has long controlled him. The day of the heist arrives, and the tension is palpable. Baby sits behind the wheel, headphones on, eyes scanning every mirror, every street, every potential obstacle. The music pulses in rhythm with his heartbeat, a steady guide through chaos. Inside, the crew moves with precision, though the undercurrent of volatility remains. Bat's aggression simmers just beneath the surface, Buddy's charm and cunning mask subtle manipulations, and Darling's loyalty is tested at every turn. Baby's awareness is absolute. He anticipates every movement, every decision, and every potential conflict. This heist is more than a job, it is a test of skill, patience, and survival instincts finely tuned by experience. As the crew enters the building, the operation begins to spiral unpredictably. Bats grows impatient, acting impulsively and making threats that ripple through the team. Buddy's manipulations subtly shift the balance, while Darling tries to maintain cohesion amidst chaos. Baby remains the anchor outside, controlling the getaway car with precise movements. His driving becomes a choreography of speed, timing, and anticipation, maneuvering through streets filled with obstacles, pedestrians, and the constant presence of law enforcement. Every decision is critical, every second counts, and any misstep could be catastrophic. The heist's initial success is quickly overshadowed by internal conflicts. Tensions between crew members flare, arguments erupt, and Bat's unpredictable behavior threatens the entire operation. Despite the chaos, Baby maintains focus, his music driven concentration keeping him in sync with the unfolding events. Each turn, acceleration, and brake is executed with flawless timing. His ability to anticipate the actions of both the crew and the pursuing police vehicles allows him to navigate high speed chases with a precision that feels almost superhuman. As they escape, the streets transform into a high octane battleground. Sirens wail in pursuit, pedestrians scatter, and traffic becomes both obstacle and opportunity. Baby's movements are fluid, rhythmic, and calculated, blending instinct with skill. Yet the internal instability of the crew adds an additional layer of danger. Bats becomes increasingly aggressive, threatening to derail the escape. Buddy's manipulations introduce unpredictable challenges, and Darling's reactions to the chaos are unpredictable, forcing Baby to constantly adjust his driving strategy. The balance between external danger and internal volatility pushes him to the absolute limit. Despite the escalating chaos, Baby's emotional focus remains on Deborah. Every maneuver, every calculated risk is driven not only by the need to survive, but also by the desire to reach a future where they can be together. He envisions a life beyond the chaos, a quiet, normal existence with Deborah, away from heists, violence, and unpredictable danger. This vision strengthens his resolve, giving him clarity amidst the turmoil and guiding his decisions even as the streets twist and the crew's behavior becomes more erratic. The heist concludes with a tense, calculated finish, but the victory is bittersweet. The crew is frayed, trust is shaken, and the instability of Bats, Buddy, and Darling signals that nothing about this world is predictable. Baby realizes that escaping will require more than skill. It will require strategy, courage, and a willingness to confront the human volatility that surrounds him. He begins to see clearly that his future with Deborah depends not just on surviving the job, but on surviving the crew itself and the dangerous world Doc has pulled him into. By the end of part 4, Baby has demonstrated mastery over both the vehicle and the chaos, surviving the heist and earning a fragile sense of triumph. Yet the tension is far from over. The crew's unpredictability, the threat of law enforcement, and Baby's growing desire for freedom create a volatile mix. The stage is set for the next phase of the story, where high-speed chases, escalating danger, and the pursuit of a life outside crime will test Baby's skill, instincts, and resolve like never before. The aftermath of the heist leaves the crew frayed and restless. The adrenaline of the escape still lingers in Baby's veins, but so does the weight of exhaustion and uncertainty. Inside the crew, tensions are mounting. Bat's volatility escalates, His aggression, once tolerable, now borders on uncontrollable. Every small mistake or delay fuels his anger, creating a toxic environment where one misstep could provoke disaster. Buddy and Darling's bond, though close, begins showing cracks as their personal ambitions and fear of failure influence decisions. Baby observes everything with quiet precision, knowing that surviving the coming days will demand not only his driving skills but also his ability to navigate this human minefield. Baby reflects on the narrow line he walks between loyalty and self preservation. He has successfully completed the heist, but the crew's instability is a constant threat. Bat's unpredictability, Buddy's manipulations, and Darling's impulsiveness remind him that no one can be fully trusted. Baby's thoughts also return to Deborah, the vision of normalcy and love that has been his guiding light. He understands that leaving the criminal world behind will require meticulous planning, courage, and timing. The idea of freedom is no longer abstract, it is essential for his survival, sanity, and the possibility of a life worth living. Doc, ever calculating, begins planning another job, the so called final heist. He reassures the crew that the stakes are manageable, but Baby senses the danger immediately. The scale of the operation, combined with the volatility of his teammates, makes the mission incredibly risky. The psychological pressure builds as Baby mentally rehearses every scenario, escape routes, potential conflicts, the likely breakdown of crew members under stress. He knows that any miscalculation could have catastrophic consequences, not just for him, but for Deborah, whose safety he increasingly prioritizes above all else. As the crew prepares, Baby's perception sharpens. He notices subtle tensions, glances filled with mistrust, whispered conversations about loyalty and fear, and the undercurrents of ambition and desperation. Bat's unpredictable aggression threatens to derail even the most carefully laid plans, while Buddy's charm conceals manipulative intentions. Darling, caught between fear and loyalty, shows signs of wavering under pressure. Baby's awareness becomes both a shield and a strategy. He begins to calculate not only the physical challenges of the job, but also the emotional and psychological variables that could determine success or failure. During these days, Baby continues to nurture his connection with Deborah. Their conversations, brief and intimate, provide him with hope, grounding, and a sense of purpose. She represents the life he could have if he survives, the promise of freedom from chaos, and a reason to endure the dangers that lie ahead. Baby realizes that every heist, every maneuver, and every risk is now intertwined with the possibility of building a future beyond crime. Deborah becomes more than a romantic interest, she is his anchor, the motivation that gives clarity to the dangerous path he must navigate. The stakes are higher than ever. The crew's internal tensions have reached a critical point. Bat's aggression is escalating, and Buddy's subtle manipulations create uncertainty. Baby's determination to escape and build a life with Deborah is firmly rooted, but achieving it will require courage, skill, and perfect timing. The stage is set for the climactic heist and chase sequences to come, where Baby's driving abilities, strategic thinking, and emotional resilience will be tested like never before. The story moves inexorably toward danger, redemption, and the ultimate question: can Baby survive the final job and secure the life he dreams of with Deborah? As the final heist approaches, Baby feels the weight of responsibility heavier than ever. The crew is frayed, Bat's volatility is at a breaking point, and the looming pressure of Doc's operation makes the stakes higher than any job he has done before. Baby has spent countless hours mentally rehearsing every possible scenario: escape routes, traffic patterns, police behavior, and the unpredictable moves of his crew. His headphones are on constantly now, music not just a companion but a lifeline, a way to maintain focus while the storm of chaos swirls around him. Every beat, every rhythm guides his mind, allowing him to anticipate threats and respond with precision. Baby's attention is divided. He is deeply concerned about Deborah, the life he hopes to have with her after all the chaos ends. She has become the emotional anchor to his plans, a symbol of what he is fighting for beyond survival. The dream of leaving the city, escaping the criminal life, and living peacefully with her drives his decisions. He begins to imagine a life where he can finally stop running, a life where music is a source of joy rather than a tool for focus under pressure. But he knows the path to that life is perilous. One misstep during this heist could shatter any hope for a future with her. Doc outlines the heist in meticulous detail, emphasizing speed, timing, and coordination. But the human element, the volatile personalities of Bats, Buddy, and Darling, introduces unpredictable variables. Baby studies them, observing subtle changes in their expressions, their body language, and their tone. Bat's aggressive impulses are growing, threatening to derail the operation at any moment. Buddy's manipulations are understated but potent, capable of creating friction and mistakes. Darling, loyal but anxious, may act impulsively under stress. Baby knows that his success depends not only on his driving skill but also on his ability to navigate these human dynamics while executing the flawless getaway. Preparation for the heist is tense. Baby spends long hours mapping out routes, rehearsing maneuvers, and anticipating both police responses and crew mistakes. Each decision is weighted with life or death consequences. The city streets are studied as though they are pieces on a chessboard, every turn and intersection memorized. Baby visualizes the chaos of the heist while maintaining a mental calm, syncing his driving rhythm with the music that has always guided him. He understands that even a moment of distraction could be fatal. At the same time, Baby's internal conflict deepens. He wants to help the crew succeed, to fulfill his obligation to Doc and to survive, but he is increasingly aware that the crew's instability could compromise everything. Bat's aggression, Buddy's ego, and Darling's emotional decisions threaten the delicate balance of the operation. Baby begins mentally preparing contingencies, ways to adapt if the plan unravels, knowing that the final heist will push him to the limits of both skill and endurance. Amidst this tension, Baby and Deborah share quiet moments that reinforce his resolve. Their connection is a fragile lifeline, and he clings to the thought of her as motivation. Baby visualizes the freedom that awaits, the possibility of driving away from danger and into a future that is truly his own. Every decision he makes during this preparation, every risk assessed, every maneuver rehearsed, is influenced by the image of a life beyond the chaos, a life where he can finally be free, loved, and at peace. By the Baby is poised on the brink of action. The final heist looms, the crew's volatility threatens to erupt at any moment, and the tension in the city is palpable. Baby's mastery behind the wheel, strategic foresight, and emotional resilience will be tested as never before. The stage is set for the heist to begin, for high speed chases to erupt, and for Baby to confront the dangers that will determine not only the success of the mission but also the possibility of a future with Deborah. The story accelerates toward chaos, risk, and the ultimate test of survival, skill, and hope. The final heist begins, and the streets of the city are instantly transformed into a battleground. Baby sits behind the wheel, headphones on, his eyes scanning every mirror, every lane, every potential hazard. The music pulses in perfect rhythm with his heartbeat, guiding each precise movement. Inside the building, the crew executes their roles, but tension simmers. Bats is unpredictable, his aggression spiking at minor setbacks, while Buddy manipulates subtly and Darling struggles to maintain composure. Baby must not only drive flawlessly but anticipate the chaos erupting both inside and outside the vehicle. Every second counts, and every turn carries the weight of survival. As the heist unfolds, the crew faces complications. A guard reacts unexpectedly, triggering a chain of events that tests the team's coordination. Bats grows increasingly volatile, arguing with Buddy and showing signs of imminent violence. Darling tries to maintain focus but is visibly shaken, her movements jerky and uncertain. Baby remains calm, the music anchoring him, his driving guided by instinct and careful anticipation. He maneuvers through tight alleys, sharp corners, and crowded streets with a precision that seems almost superhuman, all while keeping the volatile crew alive and navigating police interference. The chase escalates as sirens wail in pursuit. Baby expertly threads the car through traffic, using every obstacle as both cover and advantage. He anticipates other drivers' movements, calculating distances and speeds instinctively, every beat of the music reinforcing his rhythm. Yet the danger is not just from the police. Bat's volatility and Buddy's manipulations threaten to destabilize the operation at any moment. Baby's mind races, balancing survival, strategy, and the unpredictable behavior of those inside the vehicle. Each maneuver is a delicate calculation, blending skill, intuition, and quick reflexes. Violence erupts when Bat's aggression finally spirals out of control. He attacks Buddy, creating chaos within the car. Darling tries to intervene, but the confrontation escalates dangerously. Baby is forced to act decisively, making split second choices that will determine not only his survival but the outcome of the entire heist. Every movement is synchronized with the music, guiding him through narrow escapes, sudden obstacles, and the unfolding confrontation. The city itself becomes a character in the chaos, streets, cars, and pedestrians blending into a high stakes symphony of risk and precision. Amid the chaos, Baby remains emotionally tethered to Deborah. Thoughts of her provide clarity, focus, and motivation. Each decision he makes, each calculated risk, is informed by the desire to survive and reach the life they can share together. The final heist is not merely a test of skill, it is a test of resilience, courage, and the ability to navigate both human unpredictability and external danger. Baby's mastery behind the wheel becomes the key to both life and hope, the bridge between the criminal chaos and the future he dreams of with Deborah. The heist has reached its climax. The crew's volatility has created chaos, law enforcement is in pursuit, and Baby's driving skill is pushed to the absolute limit. Yet, through focus, instinct, and the guiding rhythm of his music, he manages to survive the immediate danger. The stage is set for the next phase, where consequences of the heist, internal conflict, and the pursuit of freedom will collide. Baby's path toward redemption, survival, and reunion with Deborah hangs in the balance, ready to be resolved in the coming sequences. The chaos of the final heist reaches its peak. Baby's focus is absolute, but the instability of the crew threatens to unravel everything. Bat's aggression escalates into outright violence inside the vehicle, striking at Buddy and endangering everyone. Darling attempts to intervene, but her fear and indecision exacerbate the chaos. Baby reacts with lightning fast precision, navigating both the physical streets and the volatile emotions within the car. Every turn, acceleration, and brake is synchronized to the music, his only guide in the midst of disorder. The tension is relentless, the stakes impossibly high, and every second could mean life or death. Outside, police sirens scream and traffic becomes an unpredictable obstacle course. Baby maneuvers with extraordinary skill, threading the car through narrow alleys, dodging vehicles, and anticipating movements with instinctive accuracy. Yet he knows that survival depends not just on speed, but on controlling the human chaos in the back seat. He makes split-second decisions to prevent bats from causing fatal mistakes, keeping Buddy and Darling restrained while navigating streets lined with danger. The rhythm of his music becomes more than guidance. It is the pulse that keeps him alive, a counterbalance to the spiraling violence around him. As the heist careens toward its conclusion, Baby recognizes the critical choice he must make: protect himself, maintain loyalty to Doc, or seize the opportunity to finally escape. The crew's internal conflicts, Bat's unrelenting aggression, and the looming threat of law enforcement converge in a high stakes crescendo. Baby's mind calculates every possibility, mapping escape routes, predicting the crew's reactions, and considering the consequences of each decision. His desire to survive and secure a future with Deborah drives him to act decisively. The climax within the car erupts when Bats attempts to seize control, putting everyone in immediate danger. Baby skillfully evades Bats' attacks, steering the car with incredible precision while maintaining momentum for the escape. Buddy and Darling are caught in the chaos, their trust and loyalty tested as the situation escalates. Baby's calm, music driven focus allows him to turn potential disaster into a calculated advantage. With each sharp turn and daring maneuver, he begins to assert control over both the vehicle and the volatile crew, demonstrating not only his driving mastery but also his strategic intelligence under extreme pressure. By the end of the heist, the crew is broken, the immediate danger is subdued, and Baby emerges as the sole orchestrator of the outcome. Bats is incapacitated, Buddy and Darling are neutralized, and the police pursuit is finally managed through Baby's superior skill and anticipation. He drives with one goal in mind: escape, freedom, and the life waiting for him with Deborah. The chaos behind him fades into the background as he accelerates towards safety, leaving the criminal world momentarily behind. In these final moments, Baby reflects on the risks, the choices, and the sacrifices made. The heist, while successful, has shown him the true cost of loyalty, skill, and survival in a dangerous world. Deborah, the life he longs for, is no longer a distant dream but a tangible destination that guides his every action. Baby's focus, courage, and calculated precision have carried him through chaos, and now, with the immediate threat behind him, he is ready to confront the challenges ahead and pursue a future free from Doc, the crew, and the violence that has defined his existence. Baby has survived the final heist, outmaneuvered the volatile crew, and begun the first steps toward freedom. The path ahead remains perilous, but the foundation for his escape and a life with Deborah is firmly in place, setting the stage for the resolution and ultimate conclusion of the story. With the immediate chaos of the heist behind him, Baby now faces the fallout. The streets are quieter, but the tension is far from over. Doc, realizing the instability of the crew and the brilliance of Baby's driving, begins to assert his control in subtler but more dangerous ways. He manipulates the remaining crew members, pressures Baby, and tightens his hold on operations, reminding Baby that living the life of crime is not as simple as walking away. Baby is forced to weigh his loyalty against his desire for freedom, recognizing that every decision now carries weight not only for his survival but also for the future with Deborah. Baby begins planning his escape in earnest. Every route, every timing, every potential encounter with law enforcement or Doc's network is calculated meticulously. He reflects on the lessons of previous heists: Bat's volatility, Buddy and Darling's emotional unpredictability, and the relentless pressure of being indispensable to Doc's plans. Baby understands that freedom is within reach but requires courage, precision, and the willingness to confront the danger he has long avoided. His music becomes both a method of focus and a symbol of his determination to reclaim control over his life. Meanwhile, his connection with Deborah grows stronger. Their conversations are brief but meaningful, filled with plans, hopes, and the promise of a life together. She represents not only love but the very possibility of escape from the chaos that has dominated Baby's existence. Her presence motivates him to act decisively, to envision a life beyond crime, and to confront the obstacles that have prevented him from leaving. Every action he takes now is guided by the vision of reaching her safely and building a new future. Doc becomes increasingly suspicious of Baby's intentions. Subtle manipulations and veiled threats escalate the psychological tension, reminding Baby that leaving the criminal world comes with high stakes. The environment becomes a complex web of trust, deception, and danger. Baby must navigate it carefully, balancing the immediate need to survive with the long-term goal of escape. His mental preparation and prior experiences give him the advantage, but the unpredictability of Doc's network and the lingering threat of the crew add a constant layer of risk. Baby also contemplates the moral consequences of his actions. He has committed crimes, driven through chaos, and survived violence, but he now understands the human cost of every decision. The realization strengthens his resolve to protect Deborah and to leave behind the life that has defined him for so long. Every plan he makes, every maneuver he anticipates, and every risk he calculates is fueled by the desire to not just survive, but to finally live on his own terms. Baby is ready to take decisive action. The heists and chaos have taught him the limits of loyalty, skill, and trust, and he now knows that true freedom requires confronting danger directly. The stage is set for a final confrontation with Doc, the resolution of lingering threats, and the first steps toward a life where Baby can finally be free with Deborah. The story moves toward its climax, blending high stakes action with emotional depth, strategy, and the pursuit of redemption and love. The tension escalates as Baby begins to implement his plan to break free from Doc's control. Every decision is measured, every move calculated. He knows that Doc's influence is vast, his network ruthless, and his willingness to punish betrayal absolute. Baby starts mapping escape routes not just for himself but with contingencies in case the crew reacts violently or law enforcement interferes. His mind operates like a finely tuned machine, assessing risks, predicting human behavior, and preparing for the unpredictable. The calm precision he maintains behind the wheel extends to his planning, allowing him to envision scenarios that others would consider impossible. Bat's absence following the chaos of the last heist leaves the crew fragmented but still dangerous. Buddy, though temporarily subdued, is calculating and cunning, his subtle manipulations waiting for an opportunity to regain leverage. Darling, shaken yet loyal, clings to the remnants of her allegiance to Doc. Baby observes them all quietly, understanding that survival is as much about controlling the chaos of human emotion as it is about speed or skill. He considers every variable, from the crew's personalities to the timing of police patrols, ensuring that no element of risk is left unexamined. Meanwhile, Baby's connection with Deborah deepens, becoming both a source of emotional strength and a symbol of the life he longs for. Each moment they share, each conversation about freedom and the future, fuels his determination to escape. He envisions a world beyond heist, sirens, and violence, a world where music is not a tool for focus under danger but a source of joy, where he can finally experience the simple pleasure of driving freely without consequence. This vision drives him to prepare meticulously, knowing that even a small mistake could shatter the life he has begun to imagine. Baby also begins to anticipate Doc's response. He knows that Doc will not tolerate defiance and that leaving the network will trigger both pursuit and retaliation. Every detail of his plan incorporates contingencies for Doc's likely countermeasures, dead drops, surveillance, and the potential interception of his escape. Baby's strategic thinking has evolved beyond mere driving. He now operates like a chess master, planning moves several steps ahead while maintaining the flexibility to react instantaneously to unforeseen complications. His music is the metronome for his mind, keeping his focus sharp, his instincts keen, and his movements flawless. As the day of confrontation approaches, Baby conducts reconnaissance, testing routes, observing police patterns, and predicting potential points of conflict with any remaining crew members. Each drive is both practice and meditation, a rehearsal for the final sequence that will determine his fate. The streets of the city, once merely obstacles, are now allies in his plan, each turn, alleyway, and bridge memorized and calculated. Baby's understanding of the urban landscape is intimate and precise, allowing him to transform everyday streets into a controlled arena for both escape and strategy. Doc, sensing the growing independence and determination in Baby, begins subtle psychological maneuvers. Threats, veiled warnings, and manipulation attempts create a tense atmosphere, testing Baby's composure. Yet Baby remains steadfast, his internal focus unbroken. Every interaction with Doc, every negotiation, every subtle intimidation is met with calm calculation. Baby knows that the final confrontation is imminent and he must remain patient, observant, and prepared to act decisively at the precise moment. The tension escalates further as the crew begins to fracture. Buddy's desire for control and Darling's wavering loyalty threaten to unravel Doc's influence. Baby observes the cracks forming, using them to his advantage, predicting how the instability could provide a window for escape. His calculations are not only logistical but psychological, understanding that human behavior is as critical to success as physical skill. Baby's foresight ensures that when the final moments arrive, he will have both the strategic advantage and the precision needed to execute his escape flawlessly. The story has reached a tipping point. Baby has positioned himself for the final confrontation, mapped every route, assessed every variable, and prepared for the unpredictable. The crew is unstable, Doc is vigilant, and the city itself is a labyrinth of opportunity and danger. Baby's desire for freedom, fueled by love and survival instinct, has transformed him from a mere getaway driver into a strategist, a tactician, and a master of both speed and human psychology. The stage is set for the climactic moments where he must confront his past, outmaneuver his enemies, and finally seize the life he has envisioned with Deborah. If you want, I can continue with part 9 next, where Baby executes the escape plan, confronts Doc, and navigates the high stakes city chase toward freedom. The final confrontation with Doc draws nearer, and Baby can feel the tension building like a storm about to break. Every action he takes is calculated, every route he rehearses in his mind dozens of times. The streets of the city, once familiar, now appear as a complex chessboard of danger and opportunity. Police patrols, traffic patterns, and the remaining unpredictable crew members all become variables in a high-stakes game that requires flawless execution. Baby knows that a single misstep could mean capture, or worse, the end of the life he's fighting to claim with Deborah. Inside the crew, instability simmers to the surface. Buddy begins testing boundaries, subtly probing Baby's intentions and Doc's authority. Darling, torn between fear and loyalty, hesitates at crucial moments, her uncertainty threatening to disrupt the delicate balance. Bats, still a lingering threat despite prior chaos, casts a shadow of potential violence over every decision. Baby observes each of them carefully, understanding that survival depends not just on speed and skill, but on mastering the unpredictable emotional currents within the car. His music, constant and rhythmic, provides focus, keeping his mind sharp as he anticipates every move. Baby begins to set his plan into motion. Every drive, every stop, every decision is synchronized to maximize efficiency and minimize exposure. He identifies potential escape routes, calculates likely points of interference, and anticipates Doc's possible manipulations. His strategy is not just about evading law enforcement, it is about controlling the volatile elements of the crew while maintaining precision behind the wheel. Baby's mastery of rhythm, timing, and instinct allows him to turn the city streets into an extension of himself, navigating danger with a calm that belies the chaos around him. As tension mounts, Baby also prepares emotionally. He visualizes reaching Deborah safely, escaping the criminal world, and finally experiencing a life of freedom and love. This vision sharpens his focus, giving him clarity amid uncertainty. Every maneuver, every calculated risk is now driven by a singular goal: survival and the promise of a life with her. Baby understands that he cannot fail, not for himself, not for Deborah, and not for the possibility of finally breaking free from Doc's control. Doc becomes increasingly aware of Baby's intentions. Subtle psychological pressure, veiled threats, and manipulations escalate the stakes. Baby, however, remains unshaken. He interprets Doc's behavior, predicts moves, and integrates potential responses into his plan. The cat and mouse tension builds, each side aware of the other's capabilities, and Baby realizes that the coming moments will test every ounce of his skill, patience, and courage. The city itself becomes a dynamic arena, every street, alley, and intersection a potential site for confrontation, escape, or disaster. Baby is fully prepared. The crew's instability, Doc's vigilance, and the ever present threat of law enforcement have all been accounted for. Every detail of the plan is rehearsed and anticipated, every variable considered, and every possible outcome mapped in his mind. The stage is set for the climactic action sequences where Baby must confront Doc directly, navigate the chaos of the city, and execute his escape. The story is at its tipping point, with Baby's survival, freedom, and future with Deborah. The city streets become a symphony of speed, chaos, and tension as Baby initiates his escape. Every move is precise, every turn calculated, and every second carries immense weight. He drives with flawless instinct, music coursing through his veins like a guiding pulse, dictating timing, rhythm, and focus. The city itself seems to bend to his control. Traffic, pedestrians, and obstacles all become variables he anticipates and exploits. Behind him, remnants of the crew react unpredictably, forcing him to constantly adjust while maintaining velocity and direction. Doc, realizing that Baby is executing a move toward independence, begins to intervene through his remaining influence on the crew. Buddy attempts subtle sabotage, trying to manipulate situations to force Baby into mistakes. Darling wavers, torn between loyalty and fear, creating moments of uncertainty that Baby must navigate. Bats, though previously subdued, lingers as a potential threat, a reminder that the crew's volatility can explode at any time. Baby's mind is a precise machine, weighing each threat, recalculating paths, and responding with unparalleled precision. High speed chases erupt as law enforcement catches on to the escape attempt. Sirens scream in pursuit, lights flash, and every street becomes a potential trap. Baby threads the car through intersections with the instinctive knowledge of a master, using the chaos to his advantage. He anticipates pursuit tactics, calculates evasive maneuvers, and executes daring drifts and tight turns to maintain the upper hand. Each movement is synchronized with the music in his headphones, providing rhythm for split-second timing that separates life from death. The psychological tension is just as intense as the physical chase. Baby must manage the crew's unpredictable behavior while simultaneously staying ahead of police. His focus on Deborah, the life he is fighting to secure, fuels his determination and sharpens his reflexes. Every obstacle becomes a challenge to overcome, every threat a test of skill, and every decision a pivot point in the path toward freedom. Baby's ability to integrate emotional focus with technical mastery sets him apart, turning a perilous escape into a carefully orchestrated performance of survival and precision. As the chase intensifies, Baby begins to outmaneuver not just the police but the human threats around him. Bat's aggression, Buddy's manipulations, and Darling's indecision all create moments of danger that require split second judgment. Baby uses the city streets as both shield and weapon, exploiting routes, alleyways, and bridges to evade capture and maintain control over the volatile situation. Each maneuver is a balance of speed, awareness, and strategy, proving that his survival is as much about intellect and planning as it is about reflexes. Baby has gained a significant advantage. The crew's instability has caused internal fractures, law enforcement is challenged by his skill, and Baby's confidence in his escape plan strengthens. However, the climax of the pursuit is still ahead, with Doc's influence looming and the final confrontation inevitable. Baby's mastery of the car, his instincts, and his unwavering focus on Deborah set the stage for a decisive moment where speed, strategy, and courage will determine whether he can finally secure freedom and a future beyond the criminal world. The chase intensifies as Baby maneuvers through the city streets with unmatched precision. Every turn, acceleration, and brake is executed in perfect rhythm with the music guiding him. Sirens blare, vehicles swerve, and pedestrians scatter, yet Baby remains unshakable. He anticipates every hazard, every move from the pursuing officers, and every unpredictable action from the remaining crew. The stakes have never been higher. A single error could shatter the escape plan and destroy the life he is fighting to protect with Deborah. As the pursuit escalates, Baby begins to exploit the city itself as a tactical advantage. Narrow alleys, sudden turns, overpasses, and traffic patterns are transformed into tools for evasion. His mind calculates distances, speeds, and trajectories with surgical accuracy, allowing him to execute maneuvers that seem impossible. The chaotic energy of the city, once an obstacle, now works in his favor as he anticipates every movement of cars, motorcycles, and pedestrians around him. Each second is a blend of instinct, strategy, and flawless execution. The psychological pressure is immense. Baby must maintain focus not just on the physical challenges of driving but also on the human volatility in the car. Buddy attempts to interfere subtly, testing boundaries while Darling wavers in fear and indecision. Baby's ability to read their emotions and predict their actions keeps the mission on track. Simultaneously, the threat of Doc's manipulation looms, reminding him that escape is as much about strategy and timing as it is about speed. Every decision is a delicate balance of calculated risk and intuition. Baby's thoughts continually return to Deborah. She is the constant anchor amid chaos, a reminder of why he must survive. Every daring maneuver is motivated by the vision of freedom with her, a life without crime, violence, or fear. This emotional focus sharpens his reflexes and heightens his awareness, allowing him to anticipate dangers before they occur and act decisively. His music driven rhythm, once a coping mechanism, now becomes a lifeline, connecting him to instinct, precision, and purpose. The chase reaches critical moments as police forces adapt, attempting to trap him, block streets, and force him into tight situations. Baby counters each tactic with ingenuity and daring, using the unpredictable urban landscape to create escape routes. Every obstacle is transformed into an opportunity, every threat is met with calm, calculated response. Baby demonstrates that his survival is not just about speed, but about intelligence, foresight, and the ability to stay several steps ahead in a deadly game. Baby has solidified his control over the chase. He has outmaneuvered law enforcement, neutralized the remaining threats from the crew, and positioned himself for the final confrontation with Doc. The city, chaos, and human volatility have all been mastered, but the ultimate test remains escaping Doc's influence completely and securing the life he has envisioned with Deborah. The stage is set for the climactic sequences where courage, skill, and love converge to define Baby's destiny. The climax approaches as Baby's escape plan enters its final phase. The streets are a blur of motion, lights, and sirens, each moment demanding absolute precision. Baby drives with the calm intensity of someone who has rehearsed every possibility countless times, his music serving as both guide and lifeline. Behind him, the remaining crew members react unpredictably, their fear and desperation threatening to destabilize the delicate balance Baby has maintained. Every turn of the wheel, every maneuver is executed with split second timing, reflecting both skill and strategy honed through years of high pressure driving. Doc's presence looms larger than ever. Even from a distance, his influence feels like a shadow over the city streets. Baby anticipates Doc's attempts to manipulate the remaining crew and the law enforcement response, countering each with tactical brilliance. Buddy, desperate and cunning, tries to regain control through sabotage and provocation, while Darling wavers between fear and loyalty. Baby remains focused, neutralizing their influence through calculated maneuvers, careful timing, and mental foresight. The human element becomes a battlefield as critical as the streets themselves. As the chase reaches its most perilous points, Baby executes daring stunts, sharp drifts around tight corners, high-speed lane changes through traffic, and precise navigation through alleys too narrow for conventional escape. Each action demonstrates his mastery of both vehicle and environment, his intuition finely tuned to the rhythm of the city. Every second is a test of nerves, skill, and mental fortitude, and Baby remains unflinching, his mind aligned with the music and his vision of freedom. Amid the chaos, Baby's focus on Deborah remains unshakable. He envisions their future together with clarity and urgency, each maneuver driven by love and the hope of a new life. This emotional anchor sharpens his decision making, allowing him to anticipate dangers before they manifest and act decisively to maintain control. Baby's motivation is no longer merely survival, it is the pursuit of a life free from crime, violence, and fear, a life that he can finally claim with Deborah by his side. The tension escalates as Doc and his network realize that Baby may outmaneuver them completely. Subtle threats, pursuit tactics, and manipulations converge into a final trial, testing Baby's reflexes, strategic thinking, and courage. Every obstacle is both physical and psychological, each decision carrying life or death consequences. Baby's skill behind the wheel, combined with his ability to read human behavior and adapt instantaneously, allows him to navigate this complex, high stakes environment with extraordinary precision. Baby has gained the upper hand, the remaining crew is neutralized, law enforcement is temporarily outmaneuvered, and Baby is positioned for the final confrontation with Doc. The streets, chaos, and human volatility have been mastered, but the ultimate challenge remains: escaping Doc's influence entirely and securing a safe path to freedom with Deborah. The story reaches the threshold of resolution, setting the stage for the final decisive moments that will define Baby's future. The final confrontation is imminent and Baby is fully in control. Every plan, every maneuver, and every contingency he has rehearsed culminates in these decisive moments. Doc, realizing that his control over Baby is slipping, escalates the stakes with threats, manipulation, and attempts to intercept his escape. But Baby, calm and precise, anticipates each move. The city streets become the arena for the ultimate test of skill, courage, and strategy, as Baby navigates not just physical obstacles but the psychological pressures imposed by Doc and the remnants of his crew. The chase reaches a fever pitch. Sirens wail, traffic converges chaotically, and law enforcement closes in from multiple directions. Baby's driving is flawless, each turn, each acceleration, each braking maneuver perfectly timed to the rhythm of the music that has always guided him. He exploits every detail of the urban landscape. Narrow alleys, bridges, and side streets become tools for survival. Doc's attempts to manipulate the crew and control the situation are thwarted as Baby's foresight, skill, and instinct allow him to stay one step ahead at every turn. In the midst of chaos, Baby also confronts the remaining threats from the crew. Buddy and Darling's loyalties and fears are manipulated to his advantage, neutralizing their influence without unnecessary harm. Bats, though previously subdued, is decisively outmaneuvered. Baby demonstrates that mastery behind the wheel is only part of survival. Understanding human behavior, anticipating reactions, and executing precise decisions under pressure are equally vital. His composure and focus allow him to maintain control over a situation that could have easily spiraled into disaster. As Baby finally nears the culmination of his escape, his thoughts center on Deborah. Every maneuver, every calculated risk, every second of concentration is fueled by the vision of a life together. Love, hope, and freedom are now his guiding principles, stronger than fear, stronger than obligation, stronger than the chaos around him. Baby's emotional clarity merges seamlessly with his technical skill, creating a perfect synthesis of heart and mind that allows him to achieve what once seemed impossible. The final moments unfold with breathtaking intensity. Baby executes the ultimate escape, outmaneuvering both law enforcement and Doc's residual influence. The culmination of music, driving mastery, strategy, and courage converges as he crosses the threshold from danger to freedom. The city's streets, once a battlefield, now become the path to a new beginning. Doc's control is broken, the remaining crew neutralized, and Baby's escape is complete. In the resolution, Baby reunites with Deborah, the life he has fought for finally within reach. The music shifts from a survival mechanism to a celebration, symbolizing liberation and a new chapter. Every risk, every choice, and every sacrifice has led to this moment of triumph. Baby has emerged from the chaos not only alive but transformed, free from the criminal world and able to pursue the life he always dreamed of. The story concludes with a sense of justice, redemption, and hope. Baby and Deborah driving toward a future defined by love, freedom, and endless possibility.